what, one of the things that I like about speaking at colleges is the fact that this is one of the few times where I'm not speaking at people. It's like I do not give talks at colleges. It's like I give discussions. So I think you get a lot of people talking at you while you're here during the day. So you don't need to be standing up and just giving a standard talk and stuff, that I give at a conference and stuff, Instead, let's have a discussion. It's like, ask me questions. What do you think about hacking? If you want to hear about stories, if you want to hear about actual experience, if you want to hear about problems or issues that you have, things that you're interested in, things that you want to hear about, because I can usually talk about anything or at least make it up and sound like I know what I'm talking about. Either way works. So it's like,
it's just like a professor.
And at college and stuff, usually they'll call me out on it, so it's like I get away with it. So
Public speaking hack.
Huh?
Public speaking hack.
Exactly. So does anybody want to start off with a question? Want to start off with, yes?
What is your least favorite country to pen test?
The least country, with permission or without permission?
Define your parameters.
Like a country or a city that you just despise doing a pen test, and why?
That'd be the U.S. I mean, seriously, it's the most litigious. It's like, when you're doing a pen, first of all, it's like, let's make this perfectly clear. It's like, when I do pen test, it's like, I've never done a pen test without being paid for it first. It's like, there's a difference between a white hat and a black hat. That's permission. That is the only thing. It's like, when I go in with the scope of work, I go in with, with an idea from the person who paid me, such as saying, you can come in during these hours, you can come in doing this. Well, in the U.S., it's way more like you've got to get lawyers involved, and you got to figure out where you can go, where you can't go, so and like I was just in January, I was just like in the Middle East, and they were like, just hey, just come on in and do what you're thinking. I was like, and there was a guy waiting for me on the side in case they started shooting. But it's like, but basically it was just, I just went in and just did whatever I needed to do it, except, and it was fine. But in the U.S., you don't get away with that. It's a lot more structured and stuff. So
what do
it's
you
like,
get paid to do a pen test?
how much regularly, it's like, well, I don't do like the whole project. It's like, because I hate management and I'm lousy at organization. So what I usually do, people pay me, like other security companies will subcontract me to do a pen test. And what I do is I specialize in social engineering and physical compromise. People pay me to try to break in and steal stuff or try to destroy their buildings or kill people. So it's a fun stuff. I'm good at fun. So it's like, so that's the stuff that I do, and I get $2,000 a day. It's like, so it's like my rate's usually like $2.50 an hour.
Okay.
So
Plus expenses?
yep, it's like that's.
Diet Pepsi and pizza.
That
makes my rate
trust me, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like one of the, like I said, like in January, one of the best things about being in Beirut is that the pizza place was on speed dial, so it's like great pizza there. It's like, and they have French fries. Do you know they have French fries at Pizza Hut and other places? It was really weird.
Wow.
But it was good. I ramble a lot. So, but yeah, the U.S. is very structured, very regulated. You have to make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do in the U.S. is like you have to make sure that you are doing it to the letter of what they stated, because if you crash a system, if you do anything of damage to a client's machine or network that's not within the scope, then you are responsible for it. You better be bonded, you better have insurance, you better, because that's liabilities on you.
So it's more unrealistic in certain cases here in the U.S. versus.
Oh no, it's totally realistic, because I'm sure attackers only going to attack, between 9 and 5. They're only going to attack this one server that's in the DMZ and stuff, not the production machine. That's what they always go after. It's so I mean, that's what the problem is. It's like that's the problem. It's like not many people want a pen test. Everybody wants a vulnerability scan. They want to know what might happen and stuff. It's like there's one thing. Seriously, people are actually, when they pay a system, a security company and stuff, to do an assessment, they're basically saying, walk around the castle wall and see if you see any holes in the wall and stuff, it's like, and see if, if it looks bad. So see if the doors are open. See, when I go, people don't pay me to tour the wall. People say, it's like, do you have a jackhammer? It's like, how can you get in when people notice if you're, making your own hole into the wall? And that's what I usually do. It's like I have the grappling hook, and well, not really cool, but it's like, well, they have grappling, but no. I've had to climb freehanded. I've actually climbed freehanded, like in Cyprus. I was like 6 stories up, climbing on the vent, trying to prove to the client and stuff, that I could climb over the vent slats were this way instead of this way. And I said, and I showed them, I said, like, look, if I go through the elevator here, I'm bypassing your security camera, this window's open. I can go through here and I can climb up this vent, and I can get up to the top part and go around to the server room, and they're just looking at me like, whatever. I'm like, okay, hold my jacket. And it's like, and I have a picture of me in the cozy of Cyprus, in dress slacks, shirt and tie, hanging up on the railing and stuff, 6 stories up above the building and stuff, getting over into their server room. So it's like, and their server room was great because it was protected by sheetrock and glass. It was actually a suite that they just sheetrocked the windows over and then put their server rooms in there. And they were thinking because it was up on the top floor that it would be okay. It's like, there's a problem that we have is that you can be compliant all day long. Doesn't mean you're invulnerable. It's like people try to like protect themselves from compliancy, but you don't get attacked by auditors. You get attacked by hackers. You get attacked by bad guys. Those are the ones that are going after you. So you can have all those little check marks on your list and stuff, you'll still get pumped.
So you and pigeons.
Yes. Yes.
So basically what you're saying is people don't really care about security, they care about the appearance of security, is that correct?
Yes, there's only, that's exactly what it is. It's not even about the appearance of security, it's about passing the audit. It's about being compliant. It's about making sure that all your checks. I tell people, the only thing worse than no security is a false sense of security. I mean, look at the security theater of the TSA. It's like, and you'll see, there's a guy who, his name's Ethan Booth, or Evan Booth? Evan Booth. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I think it's Evan Booth. It's like, and he did a talk at Carolina Con, and it's on YouTube, so you can go look. Where what he does is he goes through TSA, he goes through the checkpoint, and he's got cash, and he shows you how to make weapons with stuff that's behind the TSA line. Using Brookstone, using Starbucks, using souvenir shops and stuff, He made a blow dart, he made a bow and arrow set, so, it's like he made all these dangerous weapons and up into an explosive device with nothing but things purchased after you get through the TSA line. So it's like one of the most secured facilities I've ever seen that I broke into was on the right across the street from Ground Zero. It's like in the financial where the gold reserve is. 8 security guards on the lower level. It's like security in the upper levels. X-ray machine, metal detectors, SWAT team with canines, going to the concourse, and I was in. And it's like, and I was I was wearing a shirt that said "Your company's computer guy." I come with warning labels, so it's like, and I still got through with that. It's like because people don't expect the Spanish Inquisition. No one expects the bad thing to happen. So it's easier to get in. The more security you have, the more protected you think you are. Yes.
For those of us that don't necessarily know your background, how did you get started? I mean, where did you?
I'm one of the oddballs in this. I started 25 years ago. Yes, I'm old. In physical security. I started in physical security and law enforcement. I've always been one of the good guys. It's like you hear stories about hackers that are like, oh yeah, I did this and this, and then I got caught, and it's like I turned good and stuff. Whatever. It's like I've always been one of the good guys. I love helping people. I love being part of security. There is nothing more fun and stuff, than being able to build a defense so well that you can actually catch the bad guy hacking you or attacking you. I've always been, I've always liked that. I've always liked helping people. It's like, and I don't like getting shot at, which I've gotten shot at. So it's like I like computer security. So, yes, I do. It's one of those things that's just you have to be aware of it. It's like you have to. So it's always been from the good side of it. It's like the light side, but I like dark things.
It wasn't to do this or you gotta live and work for the rest of your life.
Exactly. It's like I tell people it's like I'm not Huggy Bear. I'm more like that guy from Numbers. It's like I like to consult and stuff. So. Yes. Yes.
Tell us the story, preferably social engineering. A
Social
fun
engineering.
one.
Let's see. Okay. Well, this one recently happened. So I'm in Beirut, Lebanon, and it's like breaking into financial institutions through there. And what I try to do is, first of all, it's like when I do a social engineering engagement, when I do security awareness engagement, I'm not like most red teams. A lot of red teams, a lot of pen testing companies, what they like to do is they like to pwn the box and just go, bam, I destroyed you. And I'm like, great, but how does that help the client? How do you actually give value to the client? Your client is not hiring you to destroy their network. Your client is not hiring you to show you just how pathetic they are and stuff, protecting their systems. They're hiring you so they can learn and defend and be better at it. So you have to give those lessons. It's like if you're just going in and breaking the systems, giving them a report, and then saying, see ya, you know, don't be surprised the next year you come around, they got the same problems, and then say, well, guys, y'all are lousies. No, you're lousy. It's like if your company that you go to the next year has the same vulnerabilities that they have when you were there the first time, you failed them. It's like you're supposed to be educating your clients. You're supposed to be making them better. That's part of the job. It's not just about breaking their systems, it's about making them better. So when I do a social engineering engagement, what I do is I spend the first 2 days of the engagement, it's a 3-day engagement usually, I spend the first 2 days totally destroying them. I mean, I will go in and I will get in as much as I can, I will try to steal as much as I can, I will show all the vulnerabilities that I can, I will show the physical weaknesses, I will do everything I can to totally just make that company collapse virtually. And then on the last day, what do? I get caught. I spend the whole day trying to get caught. Trying to get the users to understand something bad is happening. And it's like, and so I was in Beirut, it's like it was on the 3rd day, and I had totally I was on their trading room floor with their access to their computer systems. I didn't have nothing to do with the Cyprus meltdown, by the way, because the funny thing is when the Cyprus meltdown happened, because I was actually doing some financial places in Cyprus, my wife looked at me like, what did you do? I had nothing to do with it, I got an alibi.
Are there some really thick Russians though?
Huh?
Are there really thick Russians? Did you?
No, they're actually, it's like, I've ticked off a lot of people actually, but it's like, but I only, the Russians actually are pissed off at me for one talk I did. It's like a DEFCON, it's like I was actually in Belgium studying, I'm giving my talk, it was on cyber warfare, and I talked and was starting to give me out numbers and see the Russians, well, I'll get back to the
Finish the
Russians.
story. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
You can tell I ramble. I'm sorry, I just go everywhere, you know. So I'm in Beirut. My whole job now is to get caught. I want to just go in and have them get caught so they can learn, and that way it ends on a positive note. Then it goes and says, yeah, y'all got totally screwed over here, and yeah, over here. But this person did something right, this person did good, this is what this person did. And then it creates a learning experience. Because no one just wants to learn by all the negative, they want to be able to learn by something good that's positive that happens. So I go in this one, and this is the day that I'm supposed to get caught. So I'm wearing a black leather jacket that says DEFCON on it, you know, the morning right? I'm wearing just regular slacks, I'm wearing my Thundercat tennis shoes and stuff, you know, and a shirt and tie. And so, in Beirut, I don't speak any Arabic or any French, okay, which didn't stop me from, you know, totally ponying them the first 2 days. But I go in, and this time I'm going in just to, like, I'm just gonna break you and stuff, you know, and just, you know, see what happens. I'm gonna just go over the top. So I just walk into this building, and the first thing when you're doing a social engineering engagement, it's always about the entrance. You always have to make sure you're entering. It's like, you don't enter like you're about to steal from them. They sort of pick up on that, okay? It's like, so you enter like you've been there 10,000 times. It's like, I ended up in a stairwell that didn't go nowhere one time doing that, but it's still, you go there, you just walk in like, oh yeah, I know where I'm going, and just walk in and just start doing stuff. So what I did was, I walked straight in, into the hallway, up, down to the hallway, and there was a guy who was the manager of the bank, you know, meeting with 2 people. What did I do? I went back down, and said, oh, excuse me, and then backed out, and I waited there for, you know, like 30 seconds. What did that do? That made everybody who saw me go past think that I'm talking to the manager. And then I walked back out. I walked to the first lady who's in the office, and she saw me go talk to the manager. I told her, I need to look at the computers, I'm doing some stuff on your test, and we're trying to check the USB rights and stuff, so with the IT from headquarters, I need you to let me plug this in. Plugged in the USB drive, it was a rubber ducky and stuff, you know. It's like I said, I'm a good guy, so the script, once you plug in a rubber ducky, does anyone know what a rubber ducky is from Hack 5?
Yeah.
It's a teensy audio device, teensy Arduino device, which will actually mimic a keyboard. And you put on the drive itself, you put all the keystrokes you want it to do. I know a guy who's got some malware and stuff, you know, that actually you plug this in, and it opens up Notepad all through keystrokes. And so because it just memorizes itself like it's a keyboard, and Windows auto runs keyboards and mice, you know, because they're helpful and friendly. So it's like, so it runs the script, it opens up Notepad, it types out all it types out the whole malware, then saves it as this file, then runs itself, and then goes and executes. Mine just opens up a telnet prompt to the Netherlands that does ASCII Star Wars. You know, so if you see ASCII Star Wars running on your computer, you know I've been there, you know you're screwed. So it's a little friendly reminder. So I plug that in there, pull out my camera stuff, you know, and just take a picture. It's like, which you think would be obvious, why is this guy taking out a camera and taking a picture of my screen? It's like, but I'm trying to get caught. That was the whole thing. And then I go, you know, just walk right past that, and it's like, she helped me, so now everybody around saw me in her office for like 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm definitely legit now. So what do? Well, I go right behind the teller line in a bank in Beirut. In a leather jacket and leather activity shoes, I walk behind the teller line like, hey, I'm here to look at the computers and stuff, I'm checking the computers, and it's like, I'm with IT, and it was the funniest part about it, because you don't make these things up, these things just have to happen. They were having a problem they had called IT on. Nice. So the lady takes me to the computer to start looking at it and stuff, you know, so I can start working on it. Sounds good. So I start looking at the computer and stuff. You have to roll with it. Whenever you're doing these things, if you go in as a plumber, you better have to know how to freaking fix a pipe, okay? Because you never know if someone's actually got a problem with the plumber they're gonna need you to do work on. So it's like, I've done troubleshooting, I've done desktop support, so it's like, I can do this. So what I did was I looked at it, but remember I'm trying to get caught, it's like, yeah, there's a problem that we're gonna get you a new one. We'll send you a new one from the headquarters, don't worry about it. I'm like, oh really? Well, we need a new scanner too. It's like, I don't need to bother check that, we'll get you another one of those. How many people know that it's like the head office is just gonna say, yeah, we're just gonna send you new equipment, right? It's like, that should have been a warning sign. And so then I go back behind the teller line, and I'm sitting down in the chair and I'm talking to the employee, he gives me his access card. These are Oracle sub boxes, so you need the small little computer, and you need the access card, and you need the user ID and password. So I tell the guy, so like, yeah, well, let me check on your card. What's your card? It's like, okay, this might be a problem. It's like, might be a problem with the card. Yeah, give me your card. What's your user ID and password on this? So he's like, so he gives me the user ID and password. All right, cool, thanks. And I walk out of the place going, thanks, and I leave. The executives are in the break room, watching this whole thing, just dumbfounded. Because I was supposed to get caught. This was the one I was supposed to get caught on. And so then I come back in, because no one chased me or you know, stopped me, and I'm like, how do I get caught here? So then I go back around, and it's like, and then I'm sitting down in the chair, and I start twirling in the chair. And while I'm twirling in the chair, there's a guy depositing $200,000 in cash. Right next to me. Right? I've got pictures. This is not like old Jason's just talking. I've got the pictures, and they gave me actually the surveillance video. The client actually gave me surveillance video showing me doing the twirl and everything. So I'm doing this, and it's like, and I just go and I'm like, because I'm thinking right here, this is my thing. What do I do to get caught here? And so then I go and say, oh, I know what I'll do. So I just started grabbing all the papers, all the customer confidential information from each station that no one's there. I even tried to grab the stuff from the guy who was depositing the money and stuff, you know, this paper, and he's like, no, I'm using it. I'm like, okay, cool. I just and then I walk out again, and I'm waving with the documents. Later, I'm leaving, and I walk out. No one stops me. And then I go back into the break room. And the executive's there, and he's like, pissed. And he's like, go take some of the money. I'm trying to kill me. I'm not taking money. That guy's got a gun. That guy's gonna shoot me. And the guy's like, no, it's okay. And so, did you see who's depositing the money? And he looks down, I kid you not, he leans over and he goes, oh, Hezbollah. No. That's not great. Because you know, American robbing a bank with Hezbollah in the room is just a great thing to do during the day. So it's like, so I'm like, now I'm freaking out just a little bit, right? So I'm done. It's like, I got everything I needed to get. It's like, I go to the manager, and I talk to the manager of the bank and stuff, you know, and I go into his office, and I was like, I need to go to the vault. And he's like, well, I said, well, I need to go check to see if there's any computers down there and stuff, you know. It's, they're here to, I'm checking to make sure all the computers are running and stuff, you know. But there's nothing down there. I said, I know, but you should let me down there anyway just to look, just to make sure and stuff, you know. And he's like, yeah, but there's no computer stuff here. But are there any boxes or anything I need to look at down there and stuff, you know. It's like, just trying to, how obvious, you know. It's like, so it's like, he said, no, he won't let me down there because just there's no computers. Not because I'm not legit or anything, because I've already established I'm the computer guy, so I'm obviously okay. And so we do this, and so we go through that whole thing. He's not gonna let me, so when he realized that he wasn't gonna let me into the vault, I was like, okay, it's over. So now I go into the other room and call the manager over, the executives go to the office, and then I hide in the office. Because the Hezbollah guy is now really pissed, it seems like, and he's staying out there, depositing his money, and I don't want to upset him anymore. It's like, so I stay in the office till it's over. And this was one of the situations where I went in trying to get caught, and it was so bad, we had to wait till the bank branch closed so I could get all the employees around me and explain, and had a guy translating and stuff in Arabic, explaining to them how badly they failed. I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, and one of the saddest moments I've ever called someone, and I kid you not, we're gonna laugh about it, but honestly I felt sad about it. I mean, I felt like I kicked a puppy, it was that bad, was when the manager of the bank looked at me and he realized that all that equipment I told him he was gonna get, he's not getting. I felt because I mean, he's like, but the computer and the scanners, are we still getting those? No, I was lying. I'm a bad guy. It's like, and he's just like, but not the, no, I felt horrible. It was bad. It's like, I felt like this small. It's like, it was sad.
So how many people have you gotten fired?
Huh?
How many people do you think you've gotten fired over the
None.
years?
If anybody tries to fire any employee for doing a social engineering engagement, it's like I will make sure that I attack the person who hired me first. It's like no person should get fired for a security social engineering exercise. It's like, and you make sure you need to state that. Because I will promise you this, if you fire someone, all you're gonna do is hire someone else that's brand new, and I will go pwn them. It's like your employee that was attacked and stuff, with the social engineering exercise, is gonna be 10 times more ready, available and stuff, to understand it and detect it the next time. It's like, you don't get rid of assets like that. It's like, it's a learning experience, it should only be a learning experience. Yes.
What do you look for when you, do you hire employees? Do you have anybody that you've employed?
Oh no, I'll build one man shop. Like I said, I suck at management and operation. I do not want to. I've got a daytime job, and that I do regular business and stuff. And then I got my nighttime job. This is like my nighttime job because it's like I'm more afraid of being successful than anything else. It's like I do not want to get to the point where I'm actually doing all this all the time. It's just I like just doing. I do like 3 or 4, maybe 5 gigs a year and stuff. Doing these, they're just like really weird ones. It's like that. So. And the Russian thing. So I'm in Belgium. They're giving the cyber warfare talk, and people like to talk about China. Everybody likes to talk about China. So, China's attacking this. China's attacking you, no doubt. Okay, but if you're going to talk about corporate espionage, give proper, respect to the French. The French are awesome at corporate espionage. The French are great at it. Their director of national intelligence said in the 70s during his autobiography said that corporate espionage against American companies is a profitable business. Their government official said that in his autobiography. Okay, they're so good at corporate espionage, they caught the CIA doing it to them in 1995. Which, we don't like to talk about because it was us doing it to somebody else, but still. It's like, so we're all doing it. It's like everybody does it. So, the Chinese are, but the Russians brought it up a notch. The Russians actually have the Cyber 5th Division, which is an actually division that they've actually noted and have an official of cyber warriors, people that are just doing corporate espionage, doing malware analysis, doing malware creation and stuff, They show how many people they're in their employ, they show their budget and stuff, So I thought that was like, props to the Russians, they're like, yes, we will get you, So I actually did the talk, and so I actually showed the slide which showed all the stats from the Russians. And there's these 2 guys like shooting daggers at me and saying, I'm like, and I go back and it's like, and I finish my talk and then everybody's like clapping. I'm like, yay, it's like, and the 2 guys are just like, not amused, And, it's like, and I go to one of the organizers and it's like, those guys are yeah, they're Russians. Like, don't worry, they don't have a sense of humor. I'm like, okay, good. I thought it was just me. But yeah, the Russians aren't too, pleased with me, but it's like I haven't pissed them off lately.
Like, are you hanging up in the 5th Division's wall there? Like,
yeah,
this guy.
Yeah, it's like I haven't gone.
See him walking around Moscow.
My first trip through Moscow was like freaking nerve-wracking. It's like I was like, but it was all cool. It's like I feel better. because I didn't disappear. Yes.
When you do the pen testing and everything, do you get a card or something?
It's a get out of jail free card. It's what it is basically is a letter, a printed out letter that has the scope of work on it, dates and times. And actually my talk that I'm giving this year actually shows you how I create forged ones. It's like, so, because what I did was, I was on a job back in 2000 in Houston, and I was like in this dumpster. A lot of my stories end up being dumpster for some reason. But so I'm in this dumpster and stuff, you know, and I found these blueprints. Trust me, if you understand anything about financial and banking, you will understand how awesome it is to find blueprints of a bank in a dumpster. Not if you're a bank, you're totally screwed, but if you're a bad guy, it's awesome, okay? So I'm crawling out the dumpster stuff about to do my happy root dance and stuff, you know. I'll spare you the happy root dance right now. But so I'm about to get out there and I'm getting out and I realize, like, I didn't order blue and red flashy lights for my happy root dance. Where did these come from? It's like, so it's like I'm crawling out, and it's like, and there's this guy, and it's like this one squad car, and it's like, you know, it's like there's an older gentleman sitting on this young guy. It's like, and he's already got his gun out, and he's like, I'm coming out of a dumpster, not over a dead body. It's like he's already got his gun out. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. I'm like, dude, it's a dumpster. Okay. I'm in Texas, so I'm really afraid of getting shot here. Okay. So it's like, so I back out and stuff, you know. And the whole time I'm like, I've got to. Please don't shoot me here. I've got something. And it's like, and I pull out the paper, and I scoot sideways to give it to the guy who doesn't look like he wants to kill me instantly. And it's like, hand him the letter, and let him read it. And that was my get out of jail free card. And one of the key things about a get out of jail free card is that it has the numbers to contact to verify that it's real. Cop looks at it and he goes, all right, cool. It's like, no, it's fine, leave me alone. So here, sorry to bother you. So, and that's when my epiphany hit. So now, every engagement, I create a fake letter with different phone numbers because they don't really check them. But see, my letter's a little bit different. It's like when I forge it, it's like, it says, if you find this guy, help him do whatever he needs, but make sure you don't record it or record it. Helps out a little bit more stuff, you know. And I burned a lot of go moonings on phones and stuff, you know, because I actually put a phone number that if you call will actually go to somebody else, you know, like a Patriot and stuff, you know, saying that I'm that person going, oh yeah, he's supposed to be there, but don't tell anybody, remember this. No one's ever called. It's like just the letter is good enough. And so, but yeah, you do have a scope of work and get out of jail free card stuff that you're supposed to have. It's like, and by the time it's like, what's really funny is like, I've never had it where it's like where I had to like give out one and they think it's fake and then give out the other one because they're like, yeah, whatever. Usually they're just, you know, they'll probably just end up calling. But yeah, you're supposed to have a scope of work. Always make sure you have a get out of jail free card and stuff when you're doing any of these. Even when you're doing a network assessment, make sure you have some kind of scope of work, something that's been agreed upon, stuff, you know, of what you're supposed to do. Because once again, that helps limit your liability. Oh, dude, I've had security help bring out computers from their building and put them into my car. It's like I've driven up on an exit interview and stuff, you know, with by the way, can you help me take these 4 servers out of my car? I don't need them anymore. It's like, you know, yeah, that was bad.
Have you ever been asked to do something that was against your moral compass?
First to find your
That's a
moral
hard
compass.
question because I don't have no morals, okay? It's like,
Are you talking about for work or?
Exactly. You're talking about, exactly,
work.
For work.
Pay you.
Because there's this one time in Cairo that was like just crazy. So no, I say there was one time where there was a incident. Like I said, I like doing research and I like going after bad guys. And so I was actually in this underground forum, and I don't go after hackers. I don't go after, you know, guys that are trying to, you know, learn how to break the system. I mean, yeah, they're bad, but I don't care about them. I like to go after people that are actively trying to steal money, that are trying to get identities, who's trying to like sell credit card information, stolen information. I like going after those people because I like them to be in jail. They're bad guys, and it's like, and I don't care how you like to make it mystique. Somebody was like, they're hackers, they're criminals. Just because they use computers instead of a gun doesn't make them less of a criminal. And stuff, you know, and that doesn't make them cool. It makes them criminals, and there's nothing cool about it. So I go on and I'm in this underground forum, and there's like a public forum and a private forum. And I'm in the public forum, and I know that there's stuff going on, there's shady and stuff, you know. And they're talking about going, to get to the private forum, you have to provide a stolen credit card. You actually have to provide them with criminal, you know, stuff to get access to the private stuff, you know, the private forum. And I'm like, well, that sucks. There's a lot of good stuff going on in that forum I'd like to get into. And so I kept going and just trolling, you know, working in the public forums. And then I realized something. They played WoW. World of Warcraft. I knew what server they were on, I knew what, Alliance and Horde, I knew what they were on. I'm like, well, see, I don't like, WoW's okay, but it's like, I'm a first person shooter kind of guy, I just like to run and gun, run, rocket launcher, good, It's like, wow, it's like you're gonna go talk to this guy, he wants you to bring 10 eggs and stuff, for 4 gold pieces, and I'm like, dude, my hourly rate's higher than that, and why don't you engage yourself, and stupid stuff like that, so I don't really play WoW that much. But I started playing WoW, and then I realized, how much I didn't like it, so then I got my wife and stuff, to start leveling my character up for me, and so she started playing WoW. It's like, and so I got up to a certain level, and then I was in the public forum going, oh, by the way, I'm this level and stuff, and I'm on that same server too, let's hook up together. So we get in a group, and I'm starting getting, I can get you some gold, and it's like, oh, I can enchant this and stuff, and it's like, I'm doing all this stuff, and I really sucked as a player because I didn't play that much because I was like having someone else level me up, but still, it didn't matter. It's like, get in there, and so finally, in the game, I help him kill the, Gargamel, whatever, and stuff, it's like, bad guy. And they're like, hey, let's get you into the private forum and stuff, So yeah, you can get in the private forum, and that's how I got in the private forum. And it's like, so that was pretty cool and stuff, and I did that for a couple months until somehow they got arrested for some reason. And then I stopped playing WoW for a while. But yeah, so that's because I will not, there's other things I won't do, so not because I've helped law enforcement and stuff, and I have no problem doing that. It's like, but even if they ask me to go break into someone's system, I'm not gonna do it. It's like, I don't care if I get a letter from the president that I just don't do that. That is my stuff that I don't do. Trust me, I do a lot of weird and crazy things. I don't do that stuff. And it's like, I don't do any kind of child stuff because I have a very high visual retentive memory, and there's just some things you don't forget. And sorry, I worked on a game cast where seeing people's heads, partly missing, and I can tell you exactly what they're wearing to this day, and it's not cool. So, yeah, I'm not going to go there and do that. It's like, that might be for me. I told them it's like, so yeah, so that's, so not really, I'm not going to do, and when it comes to the computer, when it comes to that kind of stuff, to the ethics and stuff, it's like morally is a whole other question, but it's like ethically and stuff, it's like I don't do it for nobody. It's like, that's just the way it is. So.
What's the most secure place you've ever run into that when you tried to pen test it was so secure you couldn't
I
get
have
in?
100% success rate in every facility I've been in. But one of the ones that actually was the most, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying physical security is different than network security. It's like, I've seen some places network-wise, they're like, oh my gosh, it's like there's a hardcore and stuff, they put the money in, it's like, you're not gonna be able to attack. But you walk in and you got the human element and stuff, But there was one place where I was in Virginia at a government facility. I was breaking into a government facility there, actually using my Gregory Evans name badge, which I thought was awesome. And so I go in to there, and I'm in it's a small, I didn't realize how small the office was. It's like, because that was one of my first mistakes. But I was in this small office, and there's a restroom, there's another door. And there's one trick with social engineering stuff, When you know that there's several different entry points, you've got to stand like this. You got to have your leg up. It's like either leg, doesn't matter, whichever is your strongest leg, keep your leg up the whole time, right by the corner. And you just wait. You just keep waiting. Because as soon as the person you hear someone on the other side, what do? You're in mid-step. And so they already think that you're coming from another area or from another door, so you're more accepted. It's like if you're standing, when you start, your gate's different when it's coming out. There's a different kind of gate when you just start and they know that you're just coming out from around the corner, which is creepy. And trust me, I look creepy enough as it is, I don't need anything to help with that. So what you do is you just do that little half step. So I was doing this facility and I had my little thing, I was only doing it for like 10 minutes, thank goodness. And then the lady walks by, I'm like, boom, I'm in the mid stride, and I walk right behind her to tailgate her. But I got my visitor badge on, she thought something was a little odd. And it's like, I go in, and going behind her and stuff, and it's like, no problem, and I go to the left. And it's like, and when I go to the left, I start installing malware on people's machines because I'm doing the Wi-Fi assessment and stuff. Having an iPad is awesome because it's magical. It's an iPad, you can't be a bad guy. So it's like you got an app running or something, it's all good and stuff, just like you have that, like you're doing something. It's better than a clipboard, trust me, it's better than a clipboard. Because it actually has, if you jailbreak, it actually has, tools that can help compromise your network. I did that in a hotel in Texas one time. I was actually breaking into their network on the iPad, and the manager actually came over to look at the iPad because he hadn't seen an iPad before, and I was like, well, let me close this real quick. So I do this little half step, and I start walking in, I start compromising, and then I see her talking to somebody else. And it's like, I see her like looking at the other person, they're coming down, looking down at me, and I had a choice. I could either go, walk out, and be successful because I compromised their network. I've already installed malware on 3 different machines, so I was good. I've done what I was paid to do, was to break in and install the malware. Or I could keep going and see what they did, see if they would stop me, see if they would catch me. Well, it turns out that this room, this office and stuff, you know, was actually just a small IT section, and their information security team was in the same area. So what did she do? She went and talked to the security guy. So I keep going, and I decided to go because I wanted them to learn something. So it's like I kept going and stuff, you know. And sure enough, the guy comes over and totally catches me. It was a very secured area, so you know, that's one of the most secured places where someone would actually, you know, was thinking about it and trying to actively catch me. It's like I then went across the street to the main building and compromised every single one of the floors, but you know, that was just because I had shown that I could do it. So I still say it's 100% successful because I did install malware, so, but that one came the closest to actually me ever getting caught. There's times where it's like I will try to get caught and stuff, you know, just so I can do more of the work and stuff, you know. But there's not been one facility where I've not gotten in. It's like, I mean, there was one, it was another government facility, because governments are like, you know, bad, you know, players and stuff, you know, because they don't like to lose. But that's just, sorry. It's like, he's got a hat on, like I don't know who's here. It's like, so I'm going in there.
My head warm.
So I go into this one place, and we had already, the team, the company that was subcontracting me, so, you know, they had already totally destroyed their network. I mean, we're talking, you know, the whole, oh my God, APT kind of thing. They were gone, home totally. But it's unionized. So their IT staff was like, well, they couldn't get in unless there was like an internal breach and something like that. It was like, you know, all their only saving grace was like, yeah, but you'd have to be inside our network to do that. You have to be inside to be able to do this. It's like, you can't get in there like that. And I'm like, okay. I came out and I'm like, there's an office building over here, and so you know that you have an office in. Why do you go after satellite offices? They're the least security. So you go after a layer of trust. And so you know, there's nothing more weakening than an acquisition or a merging of companies, because no matter how strong your main company is, it's that satellite one, the one that's just hired is all in turmoil, and you've got to create an extranet VPN into your internal network. Well, you may have all your defenses all set up, but you don't know how these people are rolling, right? So I go to this office building, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go into this office, because you got this office, and it's got a direct line into your internal network. I don't have to go in, your main facility is very well protected. That's nice, and the guns are shiny. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna try to go after those guys. I'm gonna go after this office over here. And they're like, okay, we'll try it, but we've got some rules. We've got some rules, we've got some scopes. You can go, but after 5:30. So it's like after hours. You can go after 5:30, but you can't talk to anybody that's coming out the doors, because they may not be one of our employees. And you can't break into the doors with lockpicks or anything, because I'm pretty good with cardboard and stuff and motion sensors. Couldn't even do that. So you can't do that either. It's like, so you can't go in and do that. And you can't talk to anybody inside the building unless it's the cleaning crew. But you can't talk to them unless they're in a public area. Oh, and by the way, you can talk to them, but you have to tell them the truth. You can't lie to them, because that would be impolite, and the bad guy's not going to do that. So I show up, and I got this all on video. Okay, it's unbelievable. From 1 minute and 25 seconds from getting out of the car, I went to the first door, checked it, it was locked, couldn't do anything with it. Walked over to the front, the door was locked, couldn't do anything with it. Got on the iPhone, because it's magical. Played some Angry Birds, waited, and less than 10 seconds later, a lady's walking out the door, and as soon as she walks out the door, I went right inside, didn't talk to her. Then I stayed there for 2 effing hours in that lobby, okay? My battery, by the time it was over, was at 8%, the slowest I've ever seen it, because I was like, mother, I'm not gonna be able to record this. So I go through and do this, so it's like I'm waiting, and finally, it's like I hear the cleaning lady upstairs, I'm like, that's the public area, so I walk up the stairs and I see her, and I tell her the honest to God truth. I say, excuse me. It's like, I'm trying to get back into this suite. I was there the day before. Truth. It's like, I just went to the restroom, I've been there for 2 hours, drank some water. Truth, okay? It's like, I'm just, I don't have my employee badge with me right now, which is true because of my employee badge for my day job was at home in Oklahoma. So, still the truth. And it's like, and I'm just working late tonight, which is true. I'm on the clock. I am working late. And it's like, I only need to do one thing and then I'm gone. And I only needed to do one thing, which was to destroy their network. And so, so I told her all the truth. Every single thing was 100% truthful. And she let me in. After they saw that video, they were highly pissed. But, you know, it happened. Because you can no longer go with the story of, well, you have to be in to get it. And it's like, yeah, you can't be in. And their server room in that office was right next to the break room in a closet that had no lock on it, which was, you know, totally legit. So, so that was bad. But yeah, so those are some of the like hard security places to get into. But once again, you're gonna get in. It's like I've gotten into all different kinds of locations.
Heard you mention the cardboard, so what's the weirdest utensil that you've ever used to physically compromise?
I broke into a data center with a spoon. A mother effing spoon. It's like that I took from, I love taking stuff from them. I bypassed a $1 million security system at a lab facility on the West Coast using a big pen cap that I stole from the receptionist. It's like, but the best one was there's this data center, and this was in Lebanon. It's like we're at this data center, and they're looking at the door. It's like, yes, this door security center. It's like, can you do anything to get into that, Jason? You know, they go, don't ever challenge me like that. That's not going to end well for you. You know, it's like that ski instructor. That might be a bad idea. It's like, you know, what's that? The meme for the ski instructor from South Park? You're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a bad time when you challenge me like that. So, and right in front of the data center door was a table with a coffee pot, some cups, and a spoon. I'm like, spoon? Sure, you know, I bit the spoon a little bit, so I cheated and stuff, you know, I bit the spoon a little bit and popped the Glock. They were like, I'm sorry, I said something. That guy said, he did not ask me one single question for the rest of the engagement. I hardly even heard from him again. So, he spoke pretty good English, but he wasn't talking to me. So, but yeah, I think one of the worst one was the spoon, was the best one, because it's like, spoon, because it hurts worse when you're killing them. Yes?
What's one of the most sophisticated things you've ever had to defend against in your day job?
So that's good, because I like doing blue team, I like doing defense stuff. There's a lot of different kinds of attacks. The ones that we've had to do was a phishing attempt. It's like we actually had to do, we were actually being attacked, and it was like repeatedly and stuff, you know, they would host, these phishers would host a site. They compromised a website using a post SQL error on an Apache web server. I know that because I used the same vulnerability to get into the server and stuff to take our stuff down. It's like I didn't damage any of the systems, I didn't do anything like that. And every single one of them, it's like, and my boss will attest to this, we contacted the owners. I mean, one of them was in Australia, one of them was in Brazil. One of our employees who spoke Portuguese had to come up and translate, but we contacted every single one of them who was compromised and explained to them, dude, you're pwned, you're hosting phishing stuff. Because they did like 4 or 5 other banks they were also hosting. I only cared about my stuff, so I took my stuff down because it was like they didn't have rights to use it. And it's like, and then we contacted, when we explained to them what was going on, I then sent them an email with instructions on how to harden and secure their box and fix that malware. And it's like, and we would just shut them down. But it was like a constant cat and mouse game for 3 days until finally they screwed up and hosted on a US site. And when they did that, I didn't touch it, of course. It's like, because I'm a good guy. It's like, but people were able to give me the logs. It's like, we were able to contact them, they were able to give me the logs, and I was able to go through the PHP script, find out where they were at, where we were sending the data out, and 13 Romanians ended up in jail on that one. It's like, because they were stupid enough to do a, you know, non-encrypt their stuff in their PHP scripts. So, that's a bad thing.
Kent was saying the other day that you guys are not having as many attacks directly at the bank, and they're starting to hit retailers. How is that happening?
Oh, dude, you're not even going after banks. It's like not even going after retailers. You're going after restaurants, dude. Point of sale systems.
Yeah, I think I heard about Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, it's going to be everywhere. All the restaurants, those are. I love people and stuff, you know. I was actually having lunch with some guy And he was talking to me and stuff, you know, about the security. I don't feel like doing online transactions and stuff, you know, doing that stuff online, stuff, you know, virtual, sort of scary stuff. And he hands his credit card to the purple-haired, tattooed, pierced dude. And stuff, so the guy can be gone with his credit card for 15 minutes. Yeah, that's legit and stuff, you know. I'm like, New York City, the guys just went to jail. A whole waiter and waitresses, $3 million they stole off of credit card skimming. It's like POS systems. You know what's awesome about POS systems? They're computers running Windows. How many restaurant owners are going, I better update those window cash registers? No, they plug them in, they forget about them. And you know what else they do? We need ease of use. Let's put them on the Wi-Fi. And you know what else they're saying? Well, we don't want to get two Wi-Fis, that's expensive. That router costs an extra $50. Let's just put it on the one everybody else uses too. What could go wrong? It's like, or they'll be more secure and they'll go, okay, you're right, we gotta have a different Wi-Fi. Let's just make sure it's protected and stuff, you know. What's that web thingy? Yeah, let's use that one. It's like, so that's the problem, is they're putting them on the Wi-Fi networks. So restaurants are the top areas that you're gonna get it's not just retailers, it's restaurants.
He was talking about malware being installed on the point of sale terminals at
right, that's
places
where
like
the credit cards are
retailers.
getting stolen,
And when
it's like
you-
just being
and-
reported.
Yeah, it wasn't like people were actually just skimming them and double charging you or writing them down. They were actually.
No, yeah, the malware was being uploaded and stuff, you know. I did a thing with the Secret Service once where it was a restaurant in Oklahoma and stuff, you know, and the server was, the callback server was actually some poor floor shop and stuff, you know, in another city. And it's like, which is, they're like, what? It's like, so, and then we went to look at it, and we thought, seriously, I went on this job with them, and I was like, oh crap, we're gonna bring up all these tools, and I'm like, well, let's see the server, and we'll see how you got in, because I thought I was gonna do all this IR response stuff, instant response stuff, you know, and I'm trying to figure out how they got in. And then I realized they're running MS terminal service and stuff, you know, and administrator blank, I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to do any more research. It's like, I think I know how they got in. I think we've established that. It's like, so yeah, this doesn't need to be your floral shop. So, yeah, that was that. Any other questions? Yes?
Do you have any advice for like going from college to trying to get into doing security work legitimately?
See, that's legitimately, I like the way you did that. It's a great question. It's like, yeah, it's like one of the key things that you can do, it's like, you know, when you're transitioning something, it's like, and you're trying to get in, the first goal is IT. Get into something IT related. Second of all, it's like there is a zero employment rate in information security. The problem is, maybe not necessarily here in Oklahoma City. If you're willing to move and you're willing to travel, you're guaranteed a job anywhere you want and stuff. You know, it's like in Oklahoma City's got some jobs and stuff. You know, but it's just there's so many here. It's like it's a negative employment rate.
I just came from a job interview in Tulsa.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if you're
But
willing
I want something closer to here.
yeah, and that's the geographic thing is the only thing holding you back. It's like that's the only thing holding you back from doing getting a job and stuff. You know, because it's like there's a zero unemployment rate in information security right now.
So your advice is move.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you, Jason.
I'm not telling you to leave. I'm just telling you, you know, get if you want a job.
I see how it is.
You can't move, just wait around and try to get, and also networking. It's like, you've got InfraGard, which is a great organization for security people. It's like, I don't know if this is still around. I think InfraGard's the only one that's actually made it, that's actually still around.
I think about that as Kevin Mitnick presentation.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's like the first Wednesday of every month is
He's a criminal, we're not
InfraGard
speaking
meeting.
of him.
Huh?
He's a criminal, we're not speaking
Oh,
of him.
I like Kevin. He's a cool guy. It's like, he made mistakes, but he's still a cool guy. It's like, but the thing is that, InfraGard is a good location. There's other organizations, other groups and stuff. You know, it's networking. You've got to start getting to hear what's, because it's not just going to be on the boards. It's going to be somebody at a meeting going, by the way, we're looking for somebody, you know someone. It's like, so, because we have trust issues. What?
Twitter.
Oh, on Twitter. Yes, you got to be on the Twitters. It's like, I mean, Security Twins is a great thing that does job postings. I'll retweet some of the job postings every once in a while. A lot of people will retweet in their area. Hacker Huntress is a recruiter for security jobs, but it's mostly in Chicago. Once again, it's like, it's harder in this local area, but it's like the jobs are out there.
Would you tell the students about what it is that you're doing up here on Wednesday nights?
Yeah, I've got a, see, before it became popular, the name sounded cooler, but now it sounds just douchey.
No.
It's all good.
It's awesome.
Okay. Everybody knows Sherlock Holmes. It's like, okay, and there's a group of kids that work with Sherlock Holmes, that were called the Baker Street Irregulars. So I was like, that's cool, Baker Street Irregulars and stuff, you know. So I started a group of people that just wanted some questions, wanted to help, some tutoring and stuff, you know. And it's like, I will help anybody that asks for help. So I was like, sure, let's meet up. And eventually we came to the point where we needed a name. So I was like, how about the Jayson Street Irregulars? So it's not, you know, like Jason and the E Street Band. It was just, you know, just something, you know, funny. But that was actually that was the fallback. But it's like, so yeah, so it's the Jayson Street Irregulars. It's just a group of people that are trying to do, what we're trying to do is the first hour, it's from 8:30 to 10:30 here at Rose State. It's like, the first hour is question and answers, working on tools, learning stuff about CTF, just learning about what people bring up. It's like, it's not, I want it to be unorganized, you know, no, actually a little organized chaos. Chris is the one that does the organization, I can care less. So it's like, I just want it to be where people can come up with questions and answers. I'm wondering how to break into this. I'm wondering if anybody ever used this tool. That. And then the last hour, we're going to have someone give a talk. Everybody's got to give a talk, right? Exactly. He's giving the first talk next Wednesday.
Amazing.
It's like, huh?
You'd be surprised.
Huh? Every Wednesday. Yeah.
Come on.
Chris might be able to help you with that.
PM.
But so the meeting is just, so it's 2 hours and it's just random, you know, random chaos of just trying to learn. And it's all about people coming together and stuff, you know, to help each other on different topics. It's like in different security problems. And so that's all it's going to be as far as I know. So I don't want it to be anything else but, you know, people helping each other on security related issues and stuff, you know. But while we're doing that, we're also doing a CTF because nothing breeds, you know, learning and stuff, you know, than trying to go after somebody. Okay? It's like, it's all fun and good to try to learn on yourself, but if you want to take somebody down, a little bit more motivated. So we're having an unofficial and stuff, you know, fight between two different organizations and stuff, you know.
Maybe
and,
three.
Huh?
Maybe three, last I heard.
Maybe three?
Maybe three.
Oh, cool. It's more the merrier. And it's going to be at, actually, the actual conference takes place at, that is the conference that's taking place in November. It's like, we're having a Oklahoma City security conference. It's like, Rose Clown from Chicago has agreed to actually run the CTF. So this is not just a whole bunch of people that we're going to get, this is going to be an organized CTF at the conference. I'm still trying to get speakers, you know, people that are actually, you know, that'll bring people in. We're still working on that. But it's going to be workshops on the first day. On Friday, we're going to have workshops, like maybe half day or full day workshops on tools and things like that given by different people. And then Friday night, we're going to have a party because it's a hacking conference, you got to have a party. It's like, and then Saturday is the whole day. It's just at least two tracks. And there's going to be at least a minimum of 5 local speakers and stuff, you know, speaking. If I have to drag them up and have them talk. But there'll be at least 5 local speakers here because I want it to be a local conference for Oklahoma City. So, but we're also going to have, I'm talking to Heavenson and Serbo that do the iHack.com. It's like I'm going to see them in Kansas City speaking for them. And while I'm there in May, or a couple of weeks, I'm going to tell them to come down here and speak in November. So, and I'm also trying to get Dave Kennedy. He doesn't realize this yet, so don't get it all get your hopes up or anything. It's like, but I am trying to pull some stuff. We're also doing some stuff with Hackers for Charity. So I'm actually going to try to get Johnny Long to do a Skype call and stuff during the conference. And Spritel, the guy who works a lot of the stuff for iHack Charities, is going to have a booth here. So there will actually be an iHack Charities booth, hopefully, at the conference as well. So, so it's going to be an actual security hacking conference that you haven't seen here before in Oklahoma City. So it should be fun. And the Jayson Street Irregulars are actually volunteers that I've conscripted to actually help with the tuning and the working on it and stuff. So it should be pretty interesting.
Do you know where it's going to be?
Not a clue. This started, I kid you not, this started 3 weeks ago with someone, you know, texting me saying, we should have a B-side to Oklahoma City. And it went from there.
How big do you think it's going to be?
It's like,
because that's going to determine where you're going to put it on.
I tell you honestly, you know the Information Warfare Summit for ISSA? I
Yeah.
started that 4 or 5 years ago. In 2 weeks, I had over 200 people show up. We've got 5 months to plan this, so I'm expecting more. So it's like,
OKCCC has a beautiful campus.
no, we're actually talking about the Coxon. It's like, we're actually
It's gonna have to be a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, I would be happy and surprised if we get more than 500. It's like, but I would like at least 400, 500 people show up. Just because I want to be bigger than the other conferences.
The Wednesday night thing, are you gonna do that through the summer?
It's 24, it's 365. It's like, it's not a college thing. It is just people who want to learn
But
things.
that's here on campus?
Yes, there are people that are not part of any of the colleges that show up, that are part of the
Okay,
group.
and you're doing it here in this room, or?
I have no idea. It might need a bigger room actually, so it's like, who knows?
Yeah.
Like,
The more that show up,
the
we can get more
first
live.
unofficial meeting we had was 21 people, which I was surprised since it started out with 3.
Yeah.
So 8:30 to 10:30, and it's like, and I mean, the way I explained it to them, and the way that I still want it to be, the irregular meetings, we start the irregulars because it sounds funnier. It's like the irregular meeting stuff, is basically IRC in real life. It's just an IRC in real life. I want conversations, I want people to meet, group together, talk about different things, and just learn from it. So, I mean, that's all it's going to be. There's no agenda.
Yeah, and I would like to say, I went to the Wednesday night irregulars meeting, and it was very good, and I'm really impressed with what some of the students are doing, and really digging deep and trying to get more information. So for my classes, the students from my classes get extra credit for going to this because they're learning more about cybersecurity. So I'm not sure about the other instructors, but
Well, just look at some of the other instructors now. Some of the things that we do is something we've done before. Is like we worked on Cobalt Strike, which is a hacking program. But at the regular meetings, we didn't just have Cobalt Strike and learned it. We actually had Raph, a friend of mine who created Cobalt Strike, actually Skyped in and spent an hour talking to the students about why he created it, what he was doing with it, some of the things about it and stuff. When we talked about ThreatAgent.com, it's like we had Marcus J. Carey come in and Skype in and talk about why he created that. So I plan on having guest appearances through Skype on some of the people that I know that are actually doing stuff in the industry, so to help it out and stuff. So it's like it's all about learning and trying to get better on the security products.
So what's going on with your TV show? I keep hearing rumors that you're out in Hollywood.
There was. I've got a TV show. We're still planning. I talked to the producer a week ago or something like that. It's like I got the first episode is stupid, but the I want to go after the China thing again. I'm like, dude, it's like to go to China. It's like I'm about to. It's a show based on Mythbusters in 60 Minutes. It's like it's all hacking and security. And so basically, we spend the first one episode is going to be on medical devices, how you can hack medical devices. Okay, well, it's not going to be like, oh, look, medical devices are prone. We go to the manufacturers. Why are you shipping with default passwords? Why is this their vulnerability? Where is the patch? How can the hospitals get attached to that? We go to the hospitals and say, hey, these devices are vulnerable and stuff. How are you protecting against them? What are you doing with them? And then we get a hacker on that actually knows how to hack devices, and he does a live demo at the end and hacks it. And so when we talk about banks, we'll talk about banks and phishing and scamming and stuff like that, but then we'll have Barnaby Jack on at the end, who actually jackpot an ATM live. So we show the vulnerabilities, but then we actually show them being exploited. So people that are watching actually realize, oh crap, this is real, this isn't science fiction, this isn't exaggerated. There is no FUD. It's only, I told the producer, it's like the people of the network people, we had the sort of a funny meeting. It's like I started off talking to the producers of the show. They invited me to Hollywood and stuff, to meet with them. I met them at the Polo Lounge, which is a famous restaurant in Beverly Hills. And I accidentally broke into the hotel from going the back way because the Google Maps told me to go that way, and I found it open door and I just went in. That's what I do. And so that was a funny story with them. So, so I had the meeting there, and I offered to hug Jimmy Fallon, which was really bad. I was told you don't pick up celebrities in the Polo Lounge. And, which I think is like, we pick them up, right? But, but not that way, I guess. So then the next day, I actually got there an hour before to the network office. I got there an hour before and got the receptionist to get up, plugged in my USB drive, and the whole time, this is a 16 gig USB video watch. And so I recorded the whole thing of me, like her letting me up, her leaving, and me just in their systems, in their file systems, looking at my USB drive and just highlighting all the malware that I have on it. I didn't click on any of it. I didn't have permission to click on anything. It's like, but I just just highlight all the stuff. Then I printed out the document I told her I needed to print out because I didn't want to lie.
So I printed it out, didn't need it, but you know, whatever. And then I got onto the Wi-Fi, and I didn't register onto the Wi-Fi, but I just connected to it. I wasn't authorized through the web portal, did an Nmap scan and realized that they had dual homed their internal and external network accidentally and stuff, you know, so I had all those to their servers, which was a bad thing. So we start off the meeting, and I'm like, and the producer's telling them the story about, you know, what I did at the hotel the day before, and I was like, yeah, I got here early too. And the looks on their faces were like, and I turned the laptop around and showed them the video of me getting in. And I remember another part about that, we were talking about what things that we can show. And one of them was like, the guy was like, this executive guy, he's like, well, yeah, I heard that you could actually, you know, what if you could take out a satellite, a communication satellite? You know, you could make a communication satellite knock into another one or something like that. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's based on radio systems and stuff, you know, killing the signal and stuff, you know, and letting it drift and stuff. But why do that? Break into NASA's systems and stuff, you know, take over the ISS telemetry systems, make the ISS shuttle space station crash into all the satellites, and then crash the space station into New York City. That's how you do it. And the look on his face was like, I'm like, dude, I told him, you can't give me a situation I can't make worse. That's what I do. So I'm real fun at parties, trust me. They're like that. So, but yeah, the guy showed up to my house. He actually flew out from LA right before I went to Puerto Rico, and came out and spent 2 days, you know, talking and working on the show and stuff. We're going to do a pre-pilot, which we give to the network, and then after that's done, we start the actual filming of the show if they say yes, yay or nay. So that filming should start the next week or two.
Did you charge them for the pen test?
No, I didn't. I'm a nice guy. Besides, I was giving free food, so, you know, so that helps as well too sometimes.
Are you gonna film it here in Oklahoma?
Yeah, part of it's going to be filmed in Oklahoma. It's like they saw my lab, and they want to film some of the lab. It's like I don't think they started off that way, but when they saw what my lab looks like, they're like, yeah, we want to film in here. And they also I've got a sword wall. Because I have over 100 weapons and stuff, so it's like they were like, and we got to do some of those shots with you behind that. It's like, so yeah, so it's like, so there'll be some filming in Oklahoma. It's like, but they're also going to be doing some stuff in Dallas and Austin and LA. So, any other questions?
You guys have any questions?
Questions about doing defensive stuff or getting involved in it, or what troubles I've had trying to get into the job. I mean, that's what some of the questions I want to hear too. So, yes.
Knowing that you were talking about an iPad earlier, which platform would you prefer as far as a mobile device to access via Wi-Fi, Android or the iOS?
It's very, we got to refine that question. Ones that I would like, you know, when I want to pwn somebody, or when I want to actually use for my own benefit.
When you're going to pwn someone.
Android is the best attack platform. It's like, but when I'm traveling and when I'm doing my presentation and when I'm checking my email, my Twitters and my Facebook and all that other stuff, it's an iPad. It's like I don't even jailbreak my iPad anymore because I just want it just for that function. Android, you can cherry root it and stuff. You know, you can put Ubuntu on it. You can put attack tools on it. It's a weaponized platform. The Pwn pad from Pony Express. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I mean, I'm still dreaming about getting one of those. It's like, because it's like that is just instant, just pwnage right there. And it's just looking like, oh, I'm just checking my email. And yours.
They have the Pwn phone now that has a full keyboard on it.
No, I've got one of those.
Oh, you
Those
do?
are epic. Yeah, those are nice, but the Pwn pad's way better. It's like, trust me, have you tried the Pwn on a little keyboard like that? I got Nokia 900. It's the Nokia 900 that they use. It's really nice. It's got some great apps on it and stuff. You know, it's really cool. But I type like that on a regular keyboard. Now make it that small if you want. No one wants to see a grown man cussing like that. So, yeah, but they do have the phone version.
And the plug version, which you know, one other.
Yeah, they also have the Pwn plug version. I love the Pwn plug versions. Have you seen these? They're small little white boxes. It's like, and I actually did a engagement on the West Coast to, I was supposed to go to 10 banking branches and install the device, talk them into letting me install the device, and just see what would happen. And I went in, and it's like, yeah, I'm here with the electrical brownouts and stuff, you know, from the main headquarters. They came in here to check the fluctuations of the power because it's causing a reset on the TCP/IP stack and stuff, you know. And the IP4 is now conflicted with the IPv6. We got to make sure that there's no more conflict and stuff, you know, so I'm proud about it. So I got to put this device and plug it into the actual thing because it's going to read the currents and stuff, you know. It needs to connect to your network so we get the callback and stuff, you know, and see what the Cat5 is working and stuff, you know, if it needs Cat6. So I'll need to do that. So just let me around, and also need to check to see if there's surge protectors on all your computers. So seemed legit, right? And it's like and I was wearing a DEF CON shirt, a work shirt that said DEF CON on it. 'Cause I come with warning. I always come with the warning. There's always something odd about me besides the natural oddness. But it's like there's always something I'm wearing that should make you go, that's just not right, And so it's like, but I didn't go in with a ski mask or a shotgun. They weren't trained for that. And so they walked me through the teller line, through the drive-through line, through the back areas where the money was. I made the manager of the bank get out of the desk so I could put the device behind her desk and connect it to the network. It's like all that stuff. I did it 4 of them. I was able to do 4. It's because at the 4th one, they called in and they said, stop now. We're good. We give up. Please surrender, uncle. So I stopped at 4. But all 4 of them were successful. I used a fake name that I had no ID for. I used a fake phone number that if you called, Lord knows where we go to. And I used a fake company that I made up on the spot. It's like, but I signed in. I did what was expected. So those bum folks were good. Exactly, and that's not exactly what I said then, but trust me, it was just nonsensical. It's like, I did one place, it's like where I told the guy, I was checking for the network couplings because they were having a conflict and stuff, IP address conflicts and stuff, because the network couplings were loose on the building infrastructure. And the guy's like, okay, and so I was going around taking pictures of the network jacks, because that was the closest to a network coupling I could think of. And then I go into the office and I take pictures of all the customer data and all the financial information that will destroy the company. And I'm walking out and I see this one guy sitting there, paid by the hour and stuff, going with the computer. And I noticed that his little network jack thing was a little skewered. And it's like, dude, are you having a problem with your TCP resetting stuff on your IP status? Here, get up, I need to check something. So I'm there and I'm looking at his computer and saying, he's logged into all his systems. And I'm going around and I'm clicking on it, so I'm taking pictures, and I'm clicking on some more stuff, I'm going through, sending an email, it's like clicking on some more stuff, it's like, yeah, I'm just checking everything, don't worry, it's all good. And I don't know what was worse. I actually paused for a second. I said, what's worse? The fact that he's watching me do all these things on his computer, or the fact that he has no choice but to look at the back of my shirt that says, I hacked the net. I don't know which one was worse than that. And it's like, but I was wearing a sand shirt, and on the back of it, it said, I hacked the net. And it's like, and so, that was so sad. So anything else? Yes?
How many actual jobs have you worked in information security since you started?
Let's see. Like, are you still not on that one? It's like, no. I started back in 2000. Actual physical information security, straight information security only, was one economy bank. Company went bankrupt. It's like the second one was El Paso. They went bankrupt and folded in. It's like then Aptus Consulting went bankrupt. I was feeling really bad at this point. I actually unpacked my box. The stuff that I got now, I didn't unpack my box for like freaking a year, I think. It's like so. And then after Aptus, it was like, so 4. And I've been here at this one for 10 years now. It's like, so I've been at this one place for 10 years. So they still build my crowd, so I'm there. I'm proud to say, it's like, I do not make even near what I could be making. I've turned down Google, eBay, Microsoft, because I work here because they put up with my crap. I'm a very difficult person to manage, and I like dressing like this to work, and they let me do it. So I'll put up with that. Guys, if you're out there trying to make, doing this job because you think it's going to get you good money, you're going to get screwed, okay? Because the guys that you're fighting love what they're doing. If you don't have that same kind of passion and that same kind of zeal to secure and to help protect, then you're effed. It's like you're going to hate it, you're going to start drinking, you're going to start kicking your dog, it's going to be bad. It's like, so you've got to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy what you're doing. And I mean, I'm like I said, I've always did security. I always loved security. And it's like, and I loved computers and I loved not getting shot at. And I was like, when I found out that you could do both, and stuff, you know, awesome. This is not a job for me. This is not a career. This is something, you know, I mean, this is more fun than football because, you know, it's less egos and stuff usually. It's like, so I mean, it's a great thing to do. So it's like,
And the
you have
company
to,
boy, you know.
I don't know how long this goes. I can keep talking forever.
So you've said in the past that you did security, physical security first. Did you jump straight from physical to information, or did you pop IT first?
IT support. It's like, I was doing desktop support like at a call center.
Like help desk?
Hose and clothes, buddy, hose and clothes. I'm sorry, you're doing this? Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, I don't think it's supported by us. I'm saying, please call again and say, bye-bye. And whenever I said bye-bye to you, you got totally screwed. I'm sorry, it just happened, okay? I wasn't the best person back then. It's like, I need the hose and clothes. It's like, and I paid for that, and there's karma that's come back on me on some support calls. I was like, what? One guy, I called one guy on a support call from my laptop. I went so far as going to a store, convincing the salesperson to let me take the network card out of the laptop and put it in mine just to see if it would work. I can be very convincing when I want to be. And he let me do it and attest it to know that it was a hardware-based issue on the network controller on the motherboard. Okay, I knew that. That's what I was calling for, a hardware replacement. I called the IT guy, and he goes, okay, sir, well, let's put this up. Okay, let's put the command prompt. I need you to click start, run, command prompt. Okay. Okay, I need you to type ping. Okay, I tell you the problem with the network. Ping 127.0.0.1. And I just lost it. I said, mother, you did not just tell me to ping my loopback address and say that your network card's fixed. Dude, you can't play that on me. You can't play that. It's like, I'm like, and I just went off on him. I was like, give me your supervisor. It's like, dude, when I call you, it's hardware, okay? Trust me, it's hardware. It's like, I don't call you for any kind of support. I just call for a hardware replacement. And I spent like 15 minutes just cussing him out. Then he gets the supervisor on, and I said, it's like, your guy just freaking hosed and closed me. It's like, I'm not going to be hosed and closed. I hosed and closed. I don't get hosed and closed. And it's like, and then he's like, he said, yes sir, yes sir. It's like, and then they replaced the laptop. But still, I was pissed. I'm getting angry just thinking about it again. So, but no, I started in desktop support.
You know what to put on his Christmas card.
Hosing and closing is bad now, by the way.
Just tell them to reboot is all.
That's right.
Yeah, have you tried turning it off and on again?
So how did you convince your current employers to let you stay with your shenanigans?
Mine's a weird case. It's like, I think it got to the point where, I started the first 6 years, I was freaking building out our defense system. I mean, I was freaking, that's all I did. I didn't take vacation. I took 2 days off for my dad's funeral. I took no days off for my father-in-law's funeral. It's like I freaking just worked every day, making sure I was on call, making sure I responded. I put in at least 60 or 70 hours a week on that, getting our defensive systems done. I took 2 days off for cancer and stuff after my cancer surgery. Actually, a day and a half. It's like I was back on a day and a half. It's like I was getting that stuff done and taking care of work. And then I got, to the point where the defenses were built. We do, my day job is, it's like we encrypt every hard drive, desktop, laptop. It's like we haven't had a virus in our system in over 10 years. It's like we've got systems and defenses and stuff, built out. I build out defenses like I'm laying traps for ogres and stuff. It's like, I'm putting out all these different things. It's like we've got segmented networks inside our network. So even if you go through our DMZ, you go into our network, we still treat our network like a DMZ.
Did you just throw out a challenge?
Huh?
Did you just throw out a challenge?
No, it's like that's why they want to become who it is. You can try, but I guarantee you, and I promise you this, it's like I've actually had people try. So we report every single instance and stuff, to the FBI. It's a federal offense and stuff to go after us. So it's like I will send the FBI after you, and I hope they stop ducking your work stuff, and throw you to jail. It's like, but I'm not sending out a challenge. It's like, but no, we've done that. It's like I reported people, especially I love it when they try to attack us. Usually when they attack from like other overseas or something like that. We'll still send a report and stuff, and send it out to them, but they don't do anything. But there was actually some people on Twitter and stuff, that actually said they put a picture of them on ski masks and stuff. They had not ski masks, some mask on, and they're talking about knocking over one of our banks. It's like, well, guess what? They got visited by the police. We do not play. It's like I do not. I have a sense of humor on all kinds of things, except when it comes to my job. It's like I do not joke about that. It's like, but we do we do all kinds of that segmentation, we do all these kinds of things, and we try to lock you down as much as possible. Workers hate us. Oh my gosh. It's like, yeah, I don't get birthday cards where I work. Okay? It's like, people look at me, and especially with the fact that I get dressed like this, and I'm in a financial place, and we're wearing slacks and ties and stuff, you know, and I'm like, hey, what's up, dude, my hoodie? It's like, you know, so yeah, I'm not the most well-loved person there. But I went about 2 years ago to the person who owns the bank, and I told him, look, dude, I'm done. It's like, I built out all the defenses. You can hire someone for less pay than me that can do this job. It's like I'm not doing it for the money. I like working for him. I actually like the person that owns the place. He's a friend of mine now. I've learned I've hung out with him. It's like he's a geek. It's like I had to do tech support on his phones, and I got to know him more. So he's a really cool guy, and I like him. And so it's like, but I didn't think it was fair for me to still be there if I wasn't really doing, you know, as much as I was. So, you know, because it's like most of the stuff that I needed to do was done. And he was like, well, we like having your name here because we trot you out in front of, you know, auditors and stuff, you know, and we tell our customers that we've got this guy working for us. So it's really funny. I can't tell anybody where I work, but my work tells everybody that I work there. I'm an AVP of the company and stuff, you know. It's like, so I'm the only AVP of the company that has no management responsibilities, and they won't allow me to have business cards.
But you know where all the back doors are. That's why they won't let you go.
No, trust me, I'm the one that barred all the back doors, so even I can't get in. It's like I have no domain admin rights. I have no rights. It's like to get into one of our data centers, it takes two network people, or a security person, a network person. But if I have to go in there with them, it takes 3 because I don't even have access to half of it. I can't even get in halfway. It's like through the door.
So 3 people can watch you.
Yes, so 2 people can watch it. Well, I do it, yeah, exactly. So, and we have surveillance systems in there that we put in there as proper animals. So I mean, yeah, the whole thing is I told, this is actually a good story. The EY, because those guys sucked really bad. So, you know, they did a pretty good first test and stuff, you know, vulnerability assessment on our network one time. And then the second year, they got their like B, C string and stuff, you know, to do some tamper IE, Googling, and some lame SQL injection wannabe stuff. I'm like, I was livid. I got the CIO, my boss, their guy on the phone, and his supervisor. We got on a conference call, and I said, dude, my 11-year-old can hack better than this. You cannot tell me you did you say that this is what, guess what? I tried it on your site. You failed. It's like, oh, you tried to do this? Oh, no, this worked. And you're using tamper IE. You're using a Firefox add-on saying that's a security assessment. Please. And so I was pissed. And so we just totally reamed him. It's like, I mean, I just devastated all his work, invalidated all of it. The CIO was like,
you want a job?
Jayson. I think we got a new idea. I think we need to have you start doing our assessments and stuff. And my first reaction, no! You can't have me do the assessment. I'm building the defenses. If I find something wrong with it, I'm going to fix it and not tell you about it. You can't trust me to test my own defenses. And he's like, and then he's thinking like a manager, and he says, well, and he's a manager, and it's good. He's a good manager, but he was like, well, how if I give you a bonus and stuff for every vulnerability you find? I said, no, because then I'm going to make vulnerabilities so I can find it. I told him, I said, dude, it's like, it's trust but verified. You never, if I ever come up to you and tell you to trust me, fire me, I'm about to do something bad to you. It's like, you do not trust. It's like, when you're in information security, you have to expect not to be trusted. You need to make sure that the defenses are not just standing against attackers, but they're standing against what you could do if you went bad. It's like, I don't just protect my internal network and stuff, you know, from bad guys. I protect my internal network from employees that could screw up or do something. How many internal systems have I gone into and stuff, you know, without one hacking tool, without one script, without one little, you know, knowledge of what their network is, and go, what's the first thing I do when I'm trying to attack an internal network? Network neighborhood, click. Servers, click. Oh, an HR folder, click. Pay raises and payrolls.xls, click. That's how easy it is. It's like, another thing that I like to tell my boss is that the CIO, I told him a lot of things that scared him a lot. One of the first things I told him though, was like, look dude, my job is not to tell you the things you want to hear. My job is to tell you things you don't want to hear, okay? I'm here to say no, and I like saying it, so that's how that goes. But one of the things I told him was, if you have a company, if you're in a company or organization with 1,000 people, Another organization, guess what? Guaranteed, one of them means you harm. Guaranteed, without a shadow of a doubt, one of those employees is trying to do something bad. They're trying to like copy over your customer database. They're trying to serve where they're not supposed to go. They're trying to do something to get away without having to do work. Someone is doing something bad. That's just statistics. And I suck at statistics, but I tell you right now, 85% of the statistics that I give and stuff, are pretty valid. The other 25 and stuff, may be a little shady. But it's like.
Was that one of the shady ones?
That's how I feel about statistics. So,
Yeah. 85% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
exactly.
Including that one.
And I wouldn't trust the other 40. So, I told you I suck at math, okay? So anything else?
Guys, let's thank Jayson. It's getting a
Thank
little
you.
late. I know
All right.
some of you, I hear all y'all's phones going off.
Well,